All right. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. This is Cesar Travanco from the Global Chamber, and this is our Virtual League Opportunities, part two for September. We had the first part last night for me with it was a smaller group, but it was interesting. We got a chance to really get to know everyone at the end. So for all of you that are new to this call, so we normally every month we highlight a couple of members to make sure we learn more about the background, the industry they work with, a little bit about themselves, and of course the target markets or clients for them, so we can all help as a community. And if there's any particular opportunity they want to bring as a discount, a special offer, that's always welcome as well. I would like to start with Jennifer Morgan. We had an event with Jennifer last week. I was just listening in, but it was really interesting. And I know, Jennifer, you have your book launch this week in New Jersey. So welcome. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you're doing, and of course about how was the book launch this week.
Cesar, thank you so much. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. It's delightful to be here. Oh, I see a few familiar faces as well from last week, so nice to see you as well. So Jennifer D. Morgan, the joke is I'm JD Morgan. I worked for 10 years at JP Morgan, 15 years of financial services. And by the way, the joke also is that my parents' names are Virgil and Mary. We often call them Virgin Mary. So a little bit fun thing about names. I am a communication, presentation, and sales coach and trainer. After 15 years in finance, Citigroup, Credit Suisse, and JP Morgan in 2023, I decided to start my own company to help elevate the voices of professionals. Interestingly enough, with my background in tech, fintech, and finance, it does cross all sectors, the work I did. So what happened was when I was in financial services, I originally was brought in to be a technical trainer and help with onboarding and go-to-market strategies for fabulous CRM systems. And I quickly noticed that there wasn't a lather, rinse, repeat process when it came to selling. So what happened was I devised templates and tools. I worked with over 45,000 people globally, 16 different countries. They used to put me on trains, planes, and automobiles. They used to say I should have worldwide t-shirts, tours, because I would be gone upwards of 10 weeks with JP Morgan when I was there. And I loved my job. I love the people. I created tools and templates based out of research, neuroscience, psychology, and candidly, a lot of practice as well. That's when I started my company in 23. So I've had my own company for almost 2 years now. And my whole mission statement is to elevate the voice. Thank you so much, Anita. Elevate the voices of others. So my mission statement is to help anyone democratize ideas, be more succinct, speak with brevity, and be the best version of your presenting, selling, and connective self. So I'm going to pause there, Caesar.
Thank you, Jennifer. How was it? How was the book launch?
It was really good, actually. Thank you for asking. So we had a party locally here in New Jersey as the official book launch. The room was filled with amazing people. It was at the public library, and I was so honored because a portion of the proceeds from hardback books is going to go to Make-A-Wish Foundation to grant wishes to critically ill children. And the Make-A-Wish representative came to the event, and she was lovely. She was so kind and so appreciative. So it's really, really nice. So I think it went well. People liked the event. I had food, I had some light drinks. It was just a really good feeling in the room. I had someone do an introduction. A New Jersey Hall of Fame coach came. He did an emotional introduction about me. I helped coach him for his TED Talk. So we're helping each other, if you will. And a former CNBC and Bloomberg business journalist did an interview of me as well there. But there was good response, good positive energy in the room. Thank you for asking.
Excellent. And I know based on what you said, you probably can help in any industry, in any areas, but are there any top ones, at least based on experience, that you can tell us? I think, any particular industry, any particular leader types that you've been working with in the last couple of years?
Yeah, what's interesting is that I thought when I started this company, I would only work mostly in financial services and maybe fintech tech, because that's where I was the global head of asset management technology training at JP Morgan. I helped the revenue generators close their best year ever to date in 2020. I got people up and running on Zoom. How do you present? How do you sell? A lot of other things as a result of that. So when I first started my company, I thought, well, I'm just going to be working with financial professionals, service professionals, technologists, etc. Business speak, tech speak, how to be more succinct, how to pitch. And interestingly enough, I'm getting asked more and more to do what I call back to basics, emceeing and keynoting at events. By the way, I never have asked to keynote at an event or MC. I did 16 last year, and I'm teed up to do probably 25 this year because people like the energy. They like the immediate templates that you can use to incorporate into your everyday business. So interestingly enough, companies are bringing me more in. I would say it's surprising to me. I do a lot of things. I work with C-suite professionals, one-on-one coaching. I do small group transformational workshops, but I'm getting asked more and more to do what I call back to basics or fundamentals. How do you have a conversation? How do you pick up the phone for the incumbent or the emerging talent that's coming into companies? So that's been a surprise for me. Cross sector, this all does work. But Caesar, one thing I've realized I do differently than other people, because you don't know when you try these new things, especially with being in corporate for so long, what's going to work, what's not going to work. But I've always been very, very focused on how do we prepare so people find value. And I think the biggest commodity that we have that's finite and non-renewable, we can't buy it, multiply it, or renew it, is time. So I always say that the more prepared we are for conversations we're going to have, or presentations, and everybody could tell you, I had several emails back and forth. Caesar, what should I do to prepare for the event? What should I talk about? What's most important for everybody that's on the Global Chamber on this call? Every call I do interviews, usually promoters, people that love it, deniers, people that are judgers, and make sure that we have a really warm room to walk into so you feel like it was a good value of your time walking away from a conversation, not necessarily with me, but with others. Because if you're going to pause the course of your life to be with someone else, they're also pausing the course of life to be with you as well. So we're all said to ourselves, we're going to spend this hour together on a Friday morning or afternoon or evening to be together. And I think that's the biggest gift you can give someone is your finite time.
Excellent. And that actually, I relate that with this call. One of the questions I normally send as a guidelines is like, ask a question to the audience or send a trivia or something. So that last night we got a member working on foreign exchange, and he started doing some trivia and teaching us on some wire transfer payments in Europe. So, we're all connecting, but the idea is also to learn. So use this time to go, get something valuable after all. I would like to open up if anyone has a question or a comment for Jennifer.
It takes about 8 seconds, Caesar, so we have to make sure we wait for people to respond. But then virtual takes about 9 to 10 seconds. So I am filling the silence while people unmute themselves or raise their hands.
Casey has a comment.
Go ahead, Casey. And feel free to introduce yourself, Casey, for a second.
Oh, I'm a lawyer working out of California in international spirit alcohol generally, but I do cannabis and other fun and interesting vice sort of law. Anyways, nice to meet you. I think you're doing a great job. But what I just wanted to comment on is that you obviously, know what you're doing because you do speak so eloquently. And I just wanted to say that I noticed that, and it's really nice if a coach can actually do what's trying to be achieved by the client. And I just wanted to make that observation that I think you're an impressive speaker, and that certainly helps in terms of being able to coach others because you know and can articulate what needs to be done. So thank you.
Casey, that's the ultimate compliment. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it was heartfelt as well. Impressive what you're doing, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in real quick too, Jennifer. Just one of the notes I took down was how and what resonated with me is your focus on maximizing the value of the time that you spend and that other people spend with you in the relationship. Because I think that, if probably a lot of us are running small businesses, and I think that's super important because in the end, what we're building is relationships. So I really love to hear that from you. I think that's just really great to hear. It's excellent.
Thank you, Clay. I appreciate that. And I also say as well that relational can lead to transactional. And I think that's what we often are missing now. And I say that how do you escape the sea of sameness? because we're all using, which is great, digital tools to elevate. It's all fabulous. But how do you really stand out amongst your peers? Well, there's 3 Ps of Morningstar, 3 pillars. The 3 Ps I like to refer to of the 5 Ps are there's people, there's process, and there's performance. So oftentimes processes can be similar in companies, oftentimes, especially with experience I have had. Performance can be similar as well, let's be honest. But what's always the standout is the people. So curating that personal relationship or maybe professional relationship, even depending on how much you want to be connected to that person, it literally will give you business, it will give you connection, and you never know what's going to happen in the course of your life as a result of that one person. One connection can make a difference.
So, Jennifer, I'm curious. I mean, a lot of what we do is, technology based, but
Yep.
we're getting more and more into the arena of kind of like we're doing podcasts, for example. So we started doing a monthly podcast. So is that within like the purview of what you could maybe help us get better at, is relating to the our ideal clients and helping us be more successful in disseminating helpful information, helping people ask the right questions pertaining to business risk and cyber and the things that we do? Is that something that you would feel like you could help with?
150%. So I have 3 main buckets. So I do the sales coaching, if you will, business speak, tech speak, all of that. I do workshops, one-on-one, etc., consulting. The other bucket is really focused on media preparation. That could be podcasts. I do a lot of keynote speakers, TED Talk speakers, people on main stages and panels, or getting ready to present on CNBC, Bloomberg, etc. So the joke with me is I'm the secret sauce behind the scenes. And the third thing is I do my own keynotes and workshops and breakouts at events, or I MC. So really anything, Clay, that touches in some way human communication and how you present, interact, even efficiency in meetings, candidly. How are you structuring your meeting to be the most efficient? Are we starting on time? What are you doing to prepare for the meeting? How are you preparing your messaging so it's succinct, it has brevity, and it lands? Always we're asking ourselves, so there's a TED Talk model, which isn't the TED Talk model, just quick education if I may. Caesar, is it okay? Am I okay on time? I want to make sure I don't take all the oxygen from the room.
I have someone else raising the hand, and I was going to take
Okay.
last
Okay, I'll
question.
quickly finish then.
Yep.
Amazing. Okay, so TED
Thanks.
Talk model is 3 things, but it's actually John Driscoll's model. John Driscoll in the 1970s, he created this model for orthopedic surgeons to give diagnoses to patients. So what he did was he said, what is it the problem? We use this in communications now. What is the problem? Now we flipped it to what is the goal? The so what of that is what's in it for the patient? What's in it for the audience? We flip that as well. And the third thing is the now what? What is the call to action? So what are people going to do as a result of this? Do they have to have surgery so they can walk without pain? What is it? Now, flip in communication, we say it's the what, so what, now what? What's the goal? What's in it for the audience, attendees, clients, colleagues? And then the now what is the call to action. What do you want people to think, feel, or do differently as a result of that actual engagement? So Clay, hopefully that helps. And yes to the dress.
And thanks, Jennifer. I'm gonna make sure you two connect. And Tamer, if you can, ask your question, and then we move forward with the next speaker.
Hola, ¿cómo están todos? Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So I help companies go international, and I perform all the duties that they need to establish themselves in another country. And lately, I have a group of 4 speakers that have connected with me that they want to go international, which is very interesting. So I wanted to ask you, maybe, are you going international? Are you speaking international, or do you have clients that go international? And if you do, let's connect outside of this meeting.
So yes and yes. So I've worked physically in 16 different countries all over the world, all over Asia, all over Europe. And I used to go on these long world tours and I would present, facilitate, and coach. And about 30% of my book of business right now is UK and continental Europe. I've had people wanting to bring me to Asia Pacific, but I'm trying to make it worth my while to go out there for an extended period of time, to be honest with you. So I have to make sure
Right,
that
right, right.
I'm going to pause here. So absolutely yes and yes. So I've helped people with media, keynotes, panels, sales. And a lot of the things that I do are very transferable across cross boundaries of the country. So
Okay, so I'll send you a direct message and let's talk.
amazing. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you. I appreciate your
Plus,
time and your
Jennifer.
question.
Gracias, Cesar. Thank you, everyone.
Gracias, Tamer. Thanks. And just make sure everyone put your contact details in the chat, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
help with the.
Amazing.
Now to,
Thank you,
to
Cesar.
Clay Dillard. Clay from Legion Cyberworks. Cybersecurity is really a hot topic. It's something that applies now to everyone. It's not really to the big corporations. So, Clay, welcome. You already shared a little bit with Jennifer, but we're here to learn more about you and the company.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, Caesar. And thanks, everybody for hopping on the call. And I really do appreciate the opportunity to get in and introduce myself and the company. I guess kind of go back. So I've been personally been in the IT industry, doing IT and cyber since '96. So kind of like Jennifer, I do have some financial technology, some fintech type experience in my background. And in fact, that was kind of like my last corporate job. So I worked for a shareholder communication company until about 2016, when I just decided, hey, I want to do cybersecurity 100%. That's my passion professionally. So I decided to start this company. And at first, it was, when you start a company and you've never run one before, there's a lot of things that are going on. You end up finding out real quickly, I got to wear a lot of hats, and a lot of these hats I've never tried on before. So, it's been a huge learning experience for the past 9 years. It's been a great experience for the past 9 years. A lot of ups, some downs, but we kind of started out it was just me, and so doing quite a few consulting jobs, talking about risk and helping companies understand what the risk is and helping them assess it and manage it. And then since then we've grown to do basically two separate things. So and all of this is within our mission of helping customers avoid damaging and costly cyber attacks and cyber incidents. So on one side of the house, we're doing offensive security, so we find out what vulnerabilities and weaknesses exist within our customers' environments, and then we give them a report, and we help them understand, okay, here's the priority of these risks and the weaknesses that we found. Here's how it could be bad for your business, and in general, here's how you can fix these. And on the other side of our business, it's basically doing the prevention, detection, and response, so that we're looking for the adversarial activity, the hackers, the phishing, and all these other things that companies are facing these days, and we're helping to prevent and respond to those things and make sure that our customers are not becoming victims of cyber attacks. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. I guess that's probably a lot to start off with, so I'll pause there for a second.
Thank you, Clay.
Yeah.
And Clay, you have some. I think you have some slides. You're more than welcome to share them.
I do. I guess I'll drop these up here real quick. Let's see if you guys can see that.
We can, yes.
Just pull this back up. So I guess if I had a question, I was kind of thinking about like what kind of questions or what question could I ask or get everybody in the call to ask of themselves. So kind of thinking about, what is the problem that you're facing as a business? What are the risks that you're facing as a business? And these are kind of things that we try to get our customers to think about and focus on. So the one that I kind of came up with is, if your company suffers some kind of cyber attack, ransomware, whatever it might be, have you considered and thought about what would the biggest impacts be? What are your biggest concerns? Are they financial losses? Are they reputational damage? Is it disruptions to your operations? I'm curious to find out, has anybody thought through this and what your response and what your answer might be?
Would anyone want to jump in?
Well, I've got a question, is that, I hear about these attacks and I hear of big companies happening to, but I don't really have any personal knowledge that it actually happened to either my clients or to friends of mine. Mm-hmm. And so I guess my question is how, is this another, oh boy, the big bad bully's going to get you, but it never really happens? Or is this a real significant thing that we all have to really be scared of? I mean, in my business, I have lots of confidential information of people that certainly can't get out. And so the query is how what is that risk? Is it really just infinitesimal, especially for small business, or is it a real risk out there? I mean, so tell us about that.
Yeah, Casey, that's a really good question. And it's actually probably a lot more prevalent than people might assume. And the challenge for small businesses is that they face the same kinds of cyber attacks and same threats and everything else that larger businesses face, but without the same depth and breadth of resources. So we see it all the time. So our primary customer base for our managed services are small businesses, companies that are 2 to 200 employees or so. That's our sweet spot. So, and a lot of those companies are small, but for example, one of our customers is in the real estate industry, and they transact lots of money on a monthly basis because they're constantly doing real estate deals. So we've seen targeted attacks at this company, focusing on their business partners and their customers, where it was completely obvious that the adversary learned about our customer, compromised one of their business relationship parties, or whether that was a customer or a partner. And then once they had access to their email, they can kind of understand who they know at our customer's organization and how best to target them in a phishing attack, where the ultimate goal was to defraud our customer of money. So this is a small company. They've got, I don't know, I think 15 or so employees. We're North Carolina based. They happen to be North Carolina based as well. So it definitely happens. Definitely, the bad guys are definitely targeting small businesses, and it is big business. Cybercrime generates tons of revenue, and whenever there's an opportunity for bad guys to make a lot of money, they're going to go that route, especially given the fact that there are these kits and toolkits these days that make it so easy that your mom could launch a ransomware campaign. So and we don't like to sell on fear. What we like to sell on is, have you evaluated your business risk? Do you understand what it would mean to your business if you were down for a day or a week? That's why those questions I was asking are kind of targeted, because these are all the things that could go wrong. And we want our customers to be thinking about what would happen if, so they can better plan for and allocate resources to help prevent these bad things from happening.
Are there situations where it's actually led to some kind of bankruptcy of the company? Because I could see these cyber criminals thinking that they have a big target because they transact a lot of money buying through their systems, but they really don't have any money, and they're loaned up to the hilt, and all of a sudden the cyberware comes in and basically ruins the business, and they have to declare bankruptcy.
It does happen. I don't know what the stat is on that, but I think it's a pretty significant statistic. But you got to remember, though, also that a lot of companies do and should have cyber insurance coverage. So the bad guys understand that, and they understand that the cyber insurance carrier is going to potentially pay out the ransom. So whether or not the end victim goes out of business, I guess that depends. But the bad guys know that there is a chunk of money there that the insurance carrier is going to potentially pay out. So that's kind of their angle on it, in a lot of scenarios, at least.
Sounds like an automobile accident scheme from years ago.
Yeah, it does sound like that.
Clay, this happened to me actually, if I may jump in for a moment. I was advertising my book launch event, which happened last night, and I didn't realize why people were getting the invitation. And I had about 100 people on the invitation from my CRM, and it kept repeating and sending. So within 24 hours, the same invitation was sent out 14 times. It's interesting in this situation when people lose their cool. It's I just like psychology and human nature and reactions. I'm like, the invitation sending over and over, and I didn't know what to do. And I was traveling. I was actually in London. I was about to fly back. So I'm flying back, don't know what's going on. People are pinging me, Jennifer, something's happened, something's wrong. You need to figure it out. I have a very good friend. He's head of tech at IBM. He's like, Jennifer, you need to figure this out. Small business owner. So what do I do? So I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to mitigate this. As you said, the fourth point on the slide, reputational risk. because I'm very
Mhm.
specific in how I communicate. I don't want to bother people, and recognize their time. So that's where I could have personally used your resources, because it was a data breach I found out later. But now I'm concerned in future.
Mm.
I need some sort of cyber risk or protection. So I think it's really interesting that you're looking at small and medium-sized businesses to do this work. It's needed.
Yeah, no, it's totally needed. And just real quick, we had the tools and the technology and everything that we're using on the good guy side of things have definitely evolved, and so are the tools that the bad guys are using. And so it's most of our customers, their job has nothing to do with technology, or if it does, it's not what we do, and we understand that. And the whole reason why we partner with certain companies and why we want customers and why customers partner with us is because we know that's our lane. Our lane is focused on prevention, detection, and response, and helping our customers avoid things like what you just mentioned. Because your reputation for some companies is huge, and for other companies it's compliance or protecting patient health information or whatever it might be. So we've all got the risks. We just can figure out what those risks are and what they mean to our business, and then figure out what to do about it. So
I think I agree when it comes to small businesses, that reputation part is key, because then you're growing, and there's competition now, and so who's doing better in this cyber security part is part of the it's similar to how you're doing in terms of innovation and technology. So this is part of it right now. So this is definitely an interesting topic. Clay, make sure you put your contact info in the chat. And I really like how the conversation is going today. So I want to thank everyone who's participating. And I put a link, I guess I can put it again. I put a link in the chat for a form. We have a new operation system that can help us better manage connections. So if you have a chance, jump in there and fill it out. It's really more about the background, the targets, and so that's gonna be integrated to a new AI tool that we're managing. So please take your time, 5 minutes as well. So I appreciate it. Now let's move to Andrew Bloomberg. Andrew, I see you there, from International Citizen Insurance, and I think insurance is an important topic when you're doing international work. So Andrew, welcome. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you all. I'm located in the Baltimore, Washington area, so part of the BWI chapter there. So yeah, I guess great segue there with the last discussion around insurance. I work as a global benefits broker and have a few slides just to share with you all. We focus a little more on kind of like health, life, disability, trip and travel, medical type coverage. We do some foreign general liability, errors and omissions, cyber, and things of that nature. But yeah, I'll just kind of jump right into it here. So our head office located in Boston, but we work obviously worldwide. Pretty much any citizenship, any residence country, individuals, and groups, and we're global benefits brokers. So like I said, health, life, trip, travel, those are typically our three main types of insurance that we sell. Focus a little bit more on kind of the small to middle market enterprises. Don't do as much on the larger scale. We leave that for some of the other competitors out there. That's their kind of bread and butter. But these are some of the partners that we've established. So inside the US, typically Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield Global, United Healthcare, kind of the big four that people tend to work with. And then outside of the US, really just depends on kind of the demographics of the organization there. We've put together, these are just a few of the partners, but we kind of try to pride ourselves on being able to create custom, unique solutions depending on the needs of our clients. Again, just some additional information, kind of the support and guidance that we can provide different organizations. We like to really learn, whether it's an individual who's retiring abroad, maybe they're getting relocated, maybe it's a younger person who's just taking a gap year and wants some individual insurance, all in our wheelhouse. And medical, life, key man insurance, disability, accident coverage, liability insurance. And health is kind of our bread and butter. It's typically what a lot of organizations and people look for when it comes to these global benefits. And inside of the health insurance, there's a lot of different ways that you can go and use a broker like ourselves to customize those plans. So most plans come standard with kind of that emergency inpatient type cover, heart attack, cancer, stroke, car accident. Those are four of the main ones that people kind of ask us about. And then from there, a lot of customization can go into it. So preventative and ongoing wellness, that's obviously a hot topic with a lot of companies right now. People want to be able to have mental health coverage, go in for those routine cancer screenings, routine checkups, everything like that. Holistic care, evacuation, repatriation, that's required in some countries that somebody might be traveling or living in, and we can provide it for family members as well. So in some cultures out there, they even include parents and grandparents on plans. So we're here to kind of work with local providers in different geographic areas to create custom solutions. And for anybody not familiar with what a broker does, we basically, learn about your needs, shop different plans on the marketplace for you. And typically there's no additional charges for using a broker like ourselves. We're here to be a dedicated resource to everybody. So just a very high level overview there. And I'm sure most people are familiar with brokers, and I'd be very surprised if everybody isn't on some sort of health insurance plan right now, whether that's domestic or international. I guess I can kind of open the floor up with that.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions or comments? Anita,
I
see your
have a
hand there.
question. Hi, Andrew. Anita Rodal with SBPI Services. Andrew, does your travel insurance require that a client already have regular health insurance in their home country?
Nope. So there's a few different travel insurances that we offer. So there's individual, like per trip travel type insurance. So say you wanted to just go to Europe for a week, something like that, can perfectly, cover a plan. Don't have to have something in place. Really, the travel insurance focuses on just new emergencies and illnesses that would occur outside of your primary country of residence. So don't have to have a plan in place or anything like that. However, some people prefer to have, or they do have a plan in place and they want to take out like an annual travel insurance plan. So we offer those as well. Those can be issued through a business. They can also be taken out on individual, like case by case type basis. And they basically just give you like a blanket coverage for the year to travel in and outside of your home country there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I have a question for the audience. I see a lot of people here that are traveling overseas in a regular basis. Are you all buying insurance when you travel overseas? And
I know a lot of like credit cards also come with some insurance built in as well. So it's not uncommon to see people, leaning on that kind of as the basic cover. For most US plans, there isn't global benefits included. And if there are, it's very, very minimal coverage there. So that's usually where people begin to reach out and look for kind of that travel and health insurance.
I would never travel abroad without travel insurance, travel health insurance ever. Because I've seen what happens if you don't have it.
Yes, me too. It's Casey, and I always travel with it. I have actually bought that year policy because I was traveling so much, it was hard to keep track. But when I travel with family, I make sure they have one as well, because the coordination of trying to deal with foreign health issues is so complicated. I had a friend who had a heart attack over in Germany, and he was over in the hospital there for 6 weeks between rehab and everything else. That was a lifesaver for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of horror stories out there. I feel like a lot of people have heard about that person I think I was on a cruise myself, and they had to emergency evacuate somebody from the cruise. So they had to stall the boat, essentially, get another boat to come and meet them, bring them back on shore. So between that or a chopper coming to pick somebody up, it can add up really, really quickly depending on where you are. So.
No, I agree. I actually, when I was telling at the beginning of the call, I spent some time in Mexico, and when I was working there, it was actually to a company doing third-party services for travel insurance, and we deal with all those horrific cases. And we actually ended up having the ashes of a Dutchman who drowned in Mexico in our office. So it was so many. After that, I always buy an insurance as well. It's just, you never know. Andrew, you mentioned about credit cards. What would be the difference there? It's like the service that's behind it. It's because reimbursement versus coverage. Like, what's the difference there?
Yeah, I mean, typically when you bump into some of the credit card insurance, it's a very standard coverage that they offer there, and it might be lower limits. So you can get policies like travel medical and like a policy for even $1 million or $2 million for coverage there, and sometimes credit cards are only doing 5,000, 10,000. So it can be a very low limit. Obviously, different countries that people are residing in or different countries that people are traveling to, the cost of healthcare can be very different. So, sometimes you have to take that into account. In Europe, for instance, they require at least 30,000 USD typically just to get a visa to enter the country there in certain instances. So, sometimes the credit cards aren't able to do that or aren't able to provide like a certificate of insurance, or they might not cover emergency evacuation up to the limit that's required there. So we always say it's good to know what's being required in certain countries too, and kind of have an expectation of, if something serious did happen to me, what's the most I could afford out of pocket. Some people, I mean, the actual cost for these travel medical policies is very low. Typically people are pretty, taken aback when they actually get these quotes done, and they're like, wait, it's only going to cost me $50 to get $2 million in coverage for a week. Like, seems like a no-brainer to protect me financially. You see a little bit more increased premium when it comes to like the comprehensive health insurance coverages that we offer there. And especially if you want to, say you're a global expat and you're spending half the year inside the States and half the year abroad, that's where, adding that US coverage in and having the ability to kind of go back and forth can really increase some of the premiums for individuals and companies.
Thank you, Andrew. Anita, go ahead.
Let me think of another question. Andrew, on your annual policies, is there a limit as to how many months you can spend in a particular country to maintain that coverage? Like, do you have to leave after 90 days, or can you spend 6 months in a country and it's still going to cover it?
Great question. So there's the annual policies typically have like a 30 or 45-day trip maximum. So it just resets every time you come back. So say, you go abroad for a few weeks, come back to your home country, that limit there resets, and there's no cap on the total number of trips per year. We typically say if you're going to be going over that 30 or 45-day limit, it makes more sense to just buy like a per trip travel insurance, which would be, you can take it out for the specific day you're leaving and then estimated day that you'd be coming back. You can adjust the end date if you need to, but that way, if it was going to be like a 6-month block at one time, you at least would have the ability to kind of have the blanket coverage for that entire time. So.
Thanks.
Nikhil, I see your hand. Let's take that last question so we continue with the room. Nikhil, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. Thank you, Mr. Doug, and hope you're all doing great. Just a very quick question to Mr. Andrew. Fortunately, unfortunately, I deal with a lot of lawyers who are my clients. I'm an international business advisor. I help them get business. I'm in any sector for that matter. So I have one of the top 100 lawyers in UK and also one of the top lawyers in India. And of course, also in Australia, one of the top lawyers in the state of Queensland. The only reason, Mr. Andrew, I'm asking this upright is, by any chance, insurance and legal issues go hand in hand. in case you're looking for any help on the legal, on the legal approach, I think I would be more than happy to connect with you offline. I think there's a potential discussion over there. So, yep, I think what you're doing is great. So let me drop you a line there. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Andrew.
Very nice to meet you. And yes, I'd love to connect with you offline here.
Thank you, Nihil. And thank you, Andrew, again. If you haven't, make sure you put your contact details there in the chat. And that's for the 3 speakers that we have lined up for today. But I would like to use the remaining time and maybe introduce a couple of new members, and we all learn about them. And I would like to start with Julia Walsh. Julia I think, Basel, in Switzerland.
Yes.
Julia, welcome. If you
Thank
can
you.
introduce
Yes.
yourself for a minute or two, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. I live in Basel, Switzerland, but you can probably tell I have an American accent. I am also from the Boston area, Andrew, from New Hampshire. So what I do is I'm an EOS implementer. Some people have maybe heard of that before or heard of the book Traction that summarizes the system that I'm certified in being able to coach businesses on. So I work with small and medium business owners and their leadership teams, because it's quite common for them to start feeling maybe a little bit frustrated with the team that they have or profit. They're trying to grow, they're trying to build the business, but the same things that they've been doing for however long they've been in business are not going to be the things that get them to the next level. So this very, very popular system that's used by almost, I think we're up to 40,000 companies right now all over the world, is designed to help business owners and leaders do 3 things we call vision, traction, and healthy. So vision, get everybody focused on the same vision instead of everyone having different ideas of where the business should go, and get everybody rowing in the same direction. Traction, have more accountability, more focus, more discipline, and then work together as a healthy, functional, cohesive group of people who enjoy actually spending time together and solving problems. So that's what I do. And this is actually my first meeting that I've ever attended for the Global Chamber. So I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. And part of ERS, we have been working with Wayne in Malaysia and with Tiffany in Malaysia. So very successful events with them. So we look forward to working with you. Yeah, Dwayne was the one that told me I should connect with you because I don't think there's anyone in Europe or East Coast. Yeah, no, definitely. And if you have, well, you said this is your first event, definitely we need to have you jumping in for the London meetup that takes place in I think the first Tuesday of the month. So definitely. Okay. And now also in Switzerland or related to Switzerland is Minal Joshijekli. Minal, welcome, new member as well. We look forward to learning more from you.
So hi. When I heard Jennifer speaking, I was like, wow, Jennifer and I have so much in common. And then I heard Julia talking and I was like, oh, you guys are like gonna hear. I should have just recorded, and so I'm gonna try to be entertaining because actually that's my brand. I can't help it. So what is it I do? I help employers retain employees, and the thing I have in common with Jennifer is that actually I do have a technology degree. I've worked in semiconductor industry in Silicon Valley, and I actually did investor relations for a wealth manager in Switzerland. So I wanted to cover all of the bases, Jennifer. And as far as what I do now, so how to retain employees, actually about a decade plus ago, I color my hair. So I found myself unhappy for the first time at work, and this got me curious because I had done a lot of different things from chemistry to financial services to different types of technology. I got curious what was making me unhappy, and guess what? it seems that I was actually far from being alone. And this is, to me, a very sad statistic, how many people are having that feeling on Sunday that the dread of Monday is coming around. And, you know, I live in Switzerland, Julia, and we have wonderful vacation times as well. But still, I find it quite sad that living in first world countries, that you're still hating the majority of your job in life. But that wasn't the end of the story. The thing is, when I get curious, whether it's chemistry or financial services or whatever, I do what you should do when you want to learn, which is zip it. And I just started digging deep on what it is that drives engagement. And this was about a decade ago. And what I realized was that there's a model, like there's molecular modeling, there's financial modeling. There is a model for what makes people happy at work. And the crazy thing is, once I had my model, I created pen and paper, then on Excel, I saw this quote by Gallup, and it said, human beings are more likely to be engaged, or people are more likely to be engaged when their basic human needs are met. And that was kind of, wow, that was literally my model. So that was about a decade ago. So I basically help employers, because we are missing that. I don't care if you're at a startup and think, well, no, we have our own retention strategy, blah, blah, blah. You know what? In my long experience, I've seen that we globally, all companies have retention strategies, but they're based on legacy. So if your HR person came from X, Y, and Z, guess what? You've got legacy. Even if you're a startup, on guesswork. People love going with their gut feelings. Those are right sometimes, but our divorce rate doesn't necessarily say that, and neither does a lot of other things that we do. So I don't know. And trends. So having lived in Silicon Valley, I know how globally people are impressed when something comes over for them. So from there, so colorful coffee areas seem to be the thing that everybody's convinced people need. And guess what? That's far from what we all know has made us run away from an organization. So thank you guys so much for listening, but I'm very, very happy to be here. And I love this topic, so I'm going to zip it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minal, and welcome. And you never know, a lot of times there's collaboration opportunities in the common grounds. I've seen that a lot in global chambers. So I invite you all to connect and explore. I would like now to call Mohammed Umar. I don't know, Mohammed, if you can say a few words. He's our new member advisor from Iraq, and he got an event next week about opportunities in Iraq. I don't know, I don't see him unmuting, so what I'm gonna do is to put the event link here. Oh, okay, see you, Mohammed. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. Do you hear me?
Can you introduce yourself for a second and maybe talk a little bit about the upcoming event?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. We are cooperating with the Global Chamber to talk about Iraq. Now, Iraq, especially for the last couple of years, has many reforms, and we are starting with banking sector next week. And we are giving another picture of the country for Global Chamber members and our visitors. So we will take the latest updates. And the thing is, I will be in Baghdad when I am going to make this presentation. Now I am in Turkey, but in next Friday we will be in Baghdad, and I will be taking part in an event of digital transformation exhibition. So also we have a very good news also from Iraq when it comes to digitalizing and economic reforms. And we will have a series each month to talk about what's happening there in Iraq now. So if you have any questions, keep it till next week. We will talk more details, and hopefully it will be a great view of the country, which is started to emerge, and economy potentials. And hope see everybody there.
Thank you, Mohammed. I put the link there in
Very
the
much.
chat.
Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Sure thing. Another person I would like to welcome is Brandon Matuki from the Mombasa region in Kenya. Brandon, not sure if you can say a few words to introduce yourself.
Hello, guys.
There you go.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to join the meeting. This is my first time in this meeting, and it's amazing. The conversation are really insightful, and I look forward to continue meeting guys and connecting with all of you and seeing areas of synergies, especially around the coast and what's going on around the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon. So I want to open up now. If anyone want to introduce himself, or come with another special opportunity, or Doug, if you want to say a few words, we still have a couple more minutes. We cannot really go around the room, but open up the floor in case anyone want to jump in and say a few words. And Doug, I don't know if you're there, just in case if you want to jump in.
Hey, Caesar, this is Steve.
Steven is here. He always gets priority, number one priority.
No. I apologize. I just jumped on. I was in a client call, but I just wanted to say hello. And I don't know, we had a great meeting in our office earlier this week with the Indian delegation, as you know. And I unfortunately couldn't make it, but other of my colleagues were there. I think we had about 40 people in the room, and it was a three-hour event where the 18 delegates were able to introduce themselves, and I just hope there was a lot of good feedback. We thought there was a lot of great energy in the room, and we were happy to host it, and it was really a wonderful opportunity. So I just wanted to thank Caesar and Doug for giving us the opportunity to host that, and just another great way just to meet more people within the Global Chamber from all over the world. And it was exciting to be in New York City and do that. So I don't want to interrupt. I know, there's other people in the room as well.
Thank you, Stephen. And you have an event on the 30th, right? That you have like the monthly event. And I think Jennifer is going to be part of it, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. So again, I think, between Susan and Doug and Charles Bernard, I think the New York Chamber is really trying to, set itself up to be the best chamber of all chambers. No disrespect to anybody else, but that's our goal. And I'm hoping that we get there.
And you're doing a great job. So for anyone here that has either a colleague or a partner close to New York, or planning to go to New York, definitely be on top of everything that Susan, Charles, and Steve are doing. It's really been amazing to following up this year. Anita, you got a question?
Actually, a PSA. I moderate the Global Chamber's monthly Export-Import Forum, and since KC Branch is on this call as well, I wanted to invite everybody to join us because he is my interviewee next Thursday, the 25th of September at noon Pacific time. You can find the link in the Global Chamber calendar of events, or I also put it in the chat. If you're going to save the chat, just click on it. And we'll be talking about what you do when you can't export a product like cannabis. You can export the know-how, the IP, everything else, but you have to watch out for global restrictions, laws in each individual country, and we'll be diving into that fun stuff.
That's always a great event, so I recommend everyone to take a look at that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. And Jim, I know, Jim, you were going to jump in. Go ahead before we wrap up with Doug.
Yeah, this is more of a lesson learned that, as you can tell, I'm not in my office, I'm not in my car, that the company's Doctor of Startups pivots, that when you are a founder, whether it be a unicorn or a one-off, when you get started, what we say in our world is charisma is your currency when you get started. The reason it looks odd is I am sitting next to a garbage can where the wind blew over my phone. So the lesson learned there is charisma is currency. The people on this panel have worked very, very hard. And the people I work with, I push them to be very, very hard. And I can't do anything on chat because I'm on a phone that doesn't work when it gets blown over by the wind. Everybody have a good weekend.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jim. Doug, back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And to build on the charisma part, first of all, thank you to all the speakers today. Really amazing, really great information from start to finish. Thank you all. Stephen Nikokiris of CBiz mentioned about the India group, and this here next to me, that's Dr. Sanjeev Kagram, our board chair at Stanford University yesterday, and it was amazing to learn about Stanford, to get Dr. Sanjeev Kagram and the connections that he has that are unbelievable. Like anybody in the world you'd want to meet, Dr. Kagram can get there. He'll be at the UN. He'll be in New York next week on the 22nd, 23rd, meeting with the top levels of the United Nations and world leaders. And so we're just happy that we have that. Final comment, Cesar, and I know this really relates to you, and that is Globi, making member value to be our focus as it is today, but using technology to be able to do that and make it simpler to be a member is our focus. That's what the next phase is, making it simpler to get value from Global Chamber. And so instead of being somewhat overwhelmed for all of us or some of us with the numbers of things that we're doing, to be curated for the things that you're interested in and building Globi so that you've got the ability to sort through quickly the events, and also that you don't need to be committed to have to do all this stuff. You can just let us know and we'll proactively do a lot more activity for you. And so you're in the process of being able to do that. And so over the next weeks and months, hopefully be patient with us as we get to this point, which our main vision is make business that's cross-border and cross-regional as simple as selling across the street. And technology is going to help us get there. Without your help, though, without your support and without your collaboration, it means nothing. So thank you all for all of that. Back to you, Cesar.
That's right. It's going to be about AI plus the people approach. So that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I shared that form link twice. The more we can add into the system, the better it's going to come when Globi can analyze and suggest connection for all of you. So, well, thanks again, everyone, especially Jennifer, Clayton, and Andrew for your time. I think it was a really interesting conversation, and for everyone else who participated, I really appreciate it. I look forward to connecting with you in another League of Opportunities. Have a great, wonderful weekend. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Thanks
weekend.
so much.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Take care.